As you might imagine, things will get a little batty here on Terrific Non-TV Toys. I am here in a bat cave after all. Take this item of a more Batgirl variety. We are here today to look at not just one, but two beautiful Batgirl figures. We have sort of a yesterday and today thing going on with these Batgirl figures, and they are from Funko, and they are part of the Rock Candy line of figures and celebrating the females of the DC Universe. You can see if you turn over the packaging that they have several DCU females in this line, not just the two Batgirl variations, but they have two Wonder Woman variations. They have the Wonder Woman from Batman v Superman, the movie, and then they have the classic Wonder Woman. Then they also have Supergirl and Harley Quinn. You can't be talking about females of the DCU without that Harley Quinn in there. So very cool that they have so much variation in this set. So we'll take a moment to look at the packaging before we take their girl out of the box, because this is a half out of the box experience. One of these is coming out of the box and one of them already was out of the box. One of these I bought on Amazon to fill out an order, I think for free shipping. Maybe it was around 2016. I think these are dated 2016, right? Am I thinking right? 2015 or 2016? I don't have a date. I'll look that up and I'll put it in the editing. But anyways, I believe I got both of these in 2016. One of them bought on Amazon, and then the other one my friend Mike gave me. All right, so actually let's make this easiest. Let's take a look at the classic Batgirl first. And she's got her gray leotard with yellow appointments, I guess you'd say, plus blue cape and cowl, really to match the look of Batgirl in the 1970s comics, like the Batman family line of comics, for instance, that got me started on comics and Batgirl in general back then. This is how she looked then, with the gray leotard and the big yellow boots and all of that. And this look went on for quite a few years for her, very much a classic look that we got used to for the Barbara Gordon Batgirl. There have been other Batgirls over the years, but the Barbara Gordon Batgirl is, I guess, what you would say the one with that's most recognizable, with the most staying power. And you could say, too, you could tie this in with a TV show. Batman the Animated Series, as it originally launched back in 1992, featured this look on Batgirl, as voiced by Melissa Gilbert, right? But this figure is not in the Timverse style, so I really think this is a comic book Batgirl that we've got going on here. And she's just so cute. She's got her stand with two pegs on it. I think is really helpful. Some of these stands for figures come with one peg and they don't really stay in. She's got her reddish wavy hair. Her cape is a little bit separate piece. It moves just slightly. Other than that, though, she does not move at all. She does not have articulation. She is really just for show. She's not so much an action figure in that sense. And even the packaging does call these vinyl collectibles. They don't call them figures, although for just simplicity, I've called it a figure. But it's really more a statue or just a collectible. It is softer vinyl. It's not porcelain or anything like that, like a statue. But then let's take a look at the more modern Batgirl. Now this is the Batgirl from Burnside, Batgirl of Burnside, she's commonly called. And if you're not familiar with the comics and what they've done in recent years with Batgirl, they've rebooted her, I guess a couple times you can say in recent years. Throughout the 80s, Barbara Gordon was Oracle instead of Batgirl. She still was basically Batgirl, but she was a wheelchair user because of an injury from the Joker. When he shot her, she became paralyzed, and so she concentrated her crime-fighting efforts behind the computer screen and became a very accomplished crime fighter named the Oracle. And that's the way that she was throughout the 80s and I guess 90s. And then at one point, DC decided to reboot her. Always, you know, the comic book industry is always rebooting characters, and a lot of the times they reboot the whole heckin' universe, but I think this was around 2011, that they decided to bring Barbara Gordon out of the wheelchair and get her back in action. So she still had been shot by the Joker, still had been injured and paralyzed for a time by the Joker, but she recovered. And so she got back in the uniform and got back out on the streets and was fighting crime again that way. And then at some point, I think 2014-ish, they sort of rebooted her again as this Batgirl of Burnside, when they remade the character just a little bit to be more tech savvy, and she was very young and hip, and she was living in a trendy area of town, and so definitely tuned into social media. That was the whole thing about her, is that she was always like posting on social media and responding to people's posts about her, very dialed into engagement with her public through social media. I guess that's how they decided to characterize this younger, hipper Batgirl. But this is the look you see here with the different costuming. Sometimes the Batgirl of Burnside seems to be wearing purple and sometimes darker blue, and here you can see it's darker blue. Seen it both ways. And I do have another Batgirl of Burnside figure downstairs, so when I do an episode for that, I'll actually show you the comics side by side so you can see how it was a nod to her appearance in the comics. So look at these boots are so fun. Very practical for crime fighting. You know, none of this high heel stuff. I mean, come on, that's just not practical, right? And then she's got some of the features that you would find on an earlier Batgirl, like this nice little pouch or bag. This, to me, is straight out of Detective Comics 359, the birth of Batgirl, like, you know, more than 50 years ago in the comics, you know, when they first brought her out and they showed her as a librarian transforming into this superhero who was so influenced and inspired by the Batman who had been sighted around town. So yeah, Batgirl from Burnside. Also, you can see her costuming has some seams and some detail here, a zipper, and that's characteristic of the Burnside look. It's got two-tone here, black striping on the side. So a little bit different approach. But, you know, when it looks purple in the comics or on a figure or whatever, it keeps reminding me of the very first Batgirl costume, Yvonne Craig, on TV. Her purple and yellow, you know, it really seemed like it was a nod to that. But, you know, purple has been used in Batgirl's costume in the past. Even when Batgirl was not Barbara Gordon, but it was actually Stephanie Brown, she wore a costume that was like purple and black, and I think with a little bit of yellow. So purple has been there at different times in the Batgirl costume, but I can't help but think of Yvonne Craig. Now, I will notice, this is kind of interesting. Look at those green eyes. But on this girl, we've got blue eyes, baby blue. You know, I always thought the Barbara Gordon Batgirl has brown eyes. I mean, she really should have brown eyes. But here we've got two clearly different eye colors. Unless this gal is wearing some shaded contacts or something. Because I think in the comics, traditionally, Barbara Gordon had blue eyes. Hair is a little bit different on the back, just slightly darker in the classic figure than in the Burnside, and a little bit straighter on the Burnside. You can see the capes are different, two different color, a little bit different length. And so similar pose, right? And the Burnside gal has got her little batarang ready to throw here too. All right, they are a lovely pair, and actually I see a stand here. Let's see if I can force this out of there. And again, two pegs, and actually one peg is a little bit thicker than the other. So there's only one way she's going to go on this stand, and it's a little bit tough, but that's a good thing because I got so many figures downstairs that they don't even really fit on the peg. They just fall off. It's hard to get them to stay on the peg. So she's nice and tough on her stance here. She's not going anywhere. All right. Two sisters together. One is actually taller. Classic is taller a little bit than Burnside. Interesting. Okay, so two sisters side by side, yesterday and today. A lovely set. Thanks for watching, and tune in for more episodes, including that one I mentioned, on another Batgirl of Burnside.